Hello and welcome to the Fabulous at 50 podcast, celebrating a vibrant global community of women over 50 through entertaining interviews that will inspire, educate, and empower. Your host, Joanne Neweduk, was born to nurture and promote vibrance. Joanne is both the Community Director for Calgary, Canada, and oversees the global operations for Fabulous at 50. As an oncology nurse, integrative practitioner in multiple modalities, life skills mentor, and manager, Joanne moves people from challenging situations to positive outcomes through the use of her innate gifts and learned skills. Here's your host, Joanne Neweduk.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Fabulous at 50 with Brynda Roche. I am so excited to have this beautiful lady on today because not only is she a dear friend, she also happens to be the Community Director for Edmonton in Alberta, Canada. Yay! And I first met Brynda, if I have this right, I think it was back when we were taking a business development course, right? It was a number of years ago. And we walked in similar circles, yet we had not met up until that time. So it was a 3-day event, this business mastery event, and we had so much fun. I remember we have a wonderful picture where you were so into selfies at the time, and I've now become quite proficient at those. Thank you very much. I just remember we took this picture and I think we had black boots that came up to our knees and we were being pretty swanky in this picture. Is a lot of fun. Yeah. And our paths have crossed over and over again. And as we talk today on this podcast, we'll illuminate a little bit more about our connectedness with Fabulous at 50, but I know our paths crossed over and over again. And, whether it's on social media or in events, there's even like your sacred gifts, right? Discover your sacred gifts, and you do work with colors and so many wonderful things. But at this point, I just want to bring you on and say, welcome to our show today.
Oh, thank you, Joanne. It's been very delightful and an honor actually to be on this call, but it's been extremely delightful getting to know you over the past few years too as well. So,
thank you.
It's fun.
Yeah. And we even had fun just getting ready for this podcast today, like the behind the scenes. I actually was an inch away from recording us working out those technical difficulties so that I could use it as a blooper roll in the future. But I won't go there. We have so much to cover today in our half-hour show. And I want to start off by asking you one of my favorite questions, which is simply, how did you celebrate turning 50?
Well, I go back and not that far back. No, I go back.
Not too far back.
But I go back and I think about just sort of the transition. I thought I was going to have a really hard time going from 49 to 50. And I know that when I went into my 30s and even my 40s, it was terrible. It was like, I didn't really know, first of all, when I went from my 20s into 30, I was devastated. I don't know. I didn't know what to be, who to be. All of a sudden I started saying to myself, I don't even know how I'm supposed to dress. How am I supposed to act as a 30-year-old? So all these things were just stirring up inside of me. So it was a really hard transition going into 30s. And then 40 to me was, I just absolutely had this mindset that it was going to be, that's it. I'm old, haven't accomplished a lot of stuff. What am I going to do with the rest of my life? I'm middle-aged now. And it was all this negative chatter going on in my head. But It was really strange. All of a sudden, when I hit 49 and I knew that I was going into 50, I was calm. I had a different perspective in life. I just absolutely felt, I was excited actually to go into 50 because I had heard that when you start going into your 50s and your 60s and each decade brings a new transition. But at 50, you suddenly don't care what other people are saying and thinking about you. And you're not wrapping your head around thinking that everybody's looking at you, and if you're, like anywhere in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, when actually they're not, but
they're busy thinking about their own stuff.
Oh, I know. But it's all that stuff that we put upon ourselves, and we're too embarrassed to do this, and we don't do that because we are worried about what other people think. In the 50s, it was like, as soon as I turned 50, it's like, yes, I can now just be who exactly I am, and I really don't care what people think, kind of sort of thing.
I love that.
So I let go. I think when I turned 50, I let go of the all that stuff that I call it the baggage, the false baggage that we tend to carry around, not only between the 6 inches here, but just, in everything in life. Some things are just not important. I entered my 50s, and how I celebrated it. The very first time is that I would have the opportunity to go to, and I was given a beautiful gift of going to Banff Springs Hotel with my 2 sisters.
Oh, nice.
For 3 days. And it was wonderful. I have to tell you, we went on the craziest adventure. We discovered every nook and cranny in that hotel.
Isn't it fun?
I know.
Did you go ghost hunting?
Ghost hunting. We went into the ballroom. We went into all the bathrooms in there, and
they're so elegant.
I know. And we put ourselves in so many different positions and poses and snap pictures. And I have a beautiful video that was compiled by one of my sisters. And we just had a ball, and we relaxed in elegance. We felt elegant in that hotel. We did spa treatments with each other. We laughed.
Nice. And how are your sisters older or younger than you?
They're younger.
Younger. So you were leading the way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the beautiful thing about that was that I also just realized that's how I really wanted to start my 50s. And that's how I've carried it on through, is, just being fun and spontaneous and embracing each moment in life, and just carrying on. Like, really, we have one chance at this life. And every day is a gift, and it's up to us to untie the ribbons.
Yeah, we know that all too well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was how I celebrated my going into 50s. Was, I guess, the biggest thing is I think back when I'm thinking about this right now, is I've got this song playing in my head from Frozen, Let It Go, right?
I love it. And I appreciate you saying that. So not only like you had a wonderful actual weekend of celebration, there was a real transformation that went on. And I've heard that over and over again, whether I'm having conversations within our events that we host on a regular basis, or on this show, that women seem to hit 50, and we say 50, it's not an exact date. It's somewhere in midlife where we go, why am I allowing myself to be weighed down by this? Right? So if anyone's listening that hasn't yet gone, okay, I'm going to keep it clean and G-rated on here. I'm going to let it go. There's other words I could use, but anyway, it's a time to step into truly who we are. Exactly. I think it's a time to find who we once were sometimes. Sometimes we're reconnecting to a former self that had all this vitality going on, and get way down. You know what it's like, to be a mother, or to be a wife, or to be the businesswoman, or the accountant, or the cashier, or, doing our work. Mm-hmm. And we hope that we enjoy that as well. But I just find that sometimes, when you're navigating it, I'll tell you one thing that I remember is I was being in an exercise class. And what's interesting is I am in better shape now than I believe I was in my 30s. I was so busy taking care of everyone else. Mm-hmm. I remember going to this exercise class, but there was this pressure that if you're in your 30s, it's got like, I was surrounded by women that were like really fit. And I would look over at the plus 50 class and go, they look like they're just having fun. I want that. And so I look forward to being in my 50s. And so I appreciate, you sharing how your transformation.
Yeah.
Now, on that theme, Brynda, I want to ask you, now that you've been, on the other side of 50 for a few years, is there something that you're really proud of accomplishing that you are doing now, maybe that you might not have ever dreamed of in the past, that you're going, wow, I never thought I'd be doing something like this?
Well, oh my goodness.
There's probably a lot.
That's a really good question. One of the things that I'm especially proud of is being and honored, being asked by Diana to be the director for Fabulous at 50 for Edmonton and area and surrounding areas. And when she asked me, I was flabbergasted because I'm like, me? Like me? And she's like, yes. And we were working together. I was her plant night instructor and also her trainer for the other plant night instructors and that. And she said to me, one of the things, she said, I have a checklist. And she said, I have a checklist and I look at how my directors or my potential directors or how they handle things in so many different situations. So for about a year or so, she was observing, and I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea that was going to happen. And so she came to me and said to me, I've been watching you for a year. I love how you treat people. I love how you interact with people, handling all sorts of different situations. And she showed me the checklist and she said, you have checked off every box. And I'm like, me? And so I didn't realize that I had that potential, number one. And
Nice.
and so I was just carrying on life and just being me, and also just doing what I was, with Plant Night and other things too as well. So I was really honored and just very proud and again, like humbled to be part of the Fabulous at 50 and to be handpicked by Diana Bose. So just as you were, Joanne, she often talked about you as well and how you checked off all those boxes. And she just knew that one of the things that was important to her was that she wanted her directors to have kind hearts and love people and just be themselves and let go of all that facade that sometimes we as women put on because we think we need to perform this way or that way, right? So
I agree. That's a good, it's keeping it authentic. I know that Diana was very much about both putting forward a positiveness, but being positive about something does not mean denying the pain and the hurt and sometimes sadness and grief that's going on or the difficult times. It means facing them head on and knowing that we are greater than the experience we're having. Exactly. And then coming out on the other end. And that I was listening to somebody, a podcast earlier today, and I went, oh, they said exactly how I feel. Every time I've been in difficult situations, there can be what seems like conflicting, but really coexisting would be a better term of, for lack of better word, good and bad. Like that, something that's feeling like, oh, this is so sad. And yet what comes out of it is something beautiful as well. So whether we use the terms, there's always a silver lining, or there's, something, there's just something good in it. They coexist at the same time. And we get to choose which we focus on are the most without denying the other. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate that, which is fantastic. So talking about the Edmonton community right now, I would love to touch base on that a bit, because we all know that with the world a little bit upside down and in-person live events really being curtailed. And I know that we've both taken a step back in honor of, the recommendations that are out there. I know that I hosted a couple outdoor, more like walks type of thing, but we've moved a lot online, and that's going to be presented a lot more. And we're so proud of an updated website and things along those lines that are all in the transitions in fall of 2020. What's going on, or what really fun things have happened in Edmonton, and or do you see coming up with you as a director there?
Well, you're right. The world has kind of tipped itself upside down, and so it's just a learning curve as to what we can do now. So I'm looking forward to. We were just because we had that transition with Diana passing and that, so we just took a little kind of a little. I don't even want to call it a pause. That's the word. We took a pause. So Edmonton Fabulous at 50 will be up and going here shortly again, and just in a different way, virtual again, doing some walks right now. Again, just as I was going to start trying to put together some safe meetings,
Yes,
social distancing, let's go eyeball to eyeball. Now we've got further lockdowns up here.
You do for your city, yeah.
And for even Sherwood Park where I live too. So It's like I'm always trying to step back or just to see what the next move is. So we're going to do some virtual events. I want to reconnect with all the wonderful ladies. My thing up here is with Fabulous at 50 is, and I know, Joanne, you're in the same frame of mind, is that we want to create community ambassadors. And so we have one out in Leduc. She's a community ambassador, and she's bringing together the women in Leduc area. They're not directors, but they are our ambassadors, because I believe that there are ambassadors in every community. No matter where you are, and you are the best person to bring together your community together. And Fabulous at 50 is a wonderful way to do that too.
I agree. There's a lot of women out there that have leadership abilities that have never that just haven't necessarily had the opportunity to step into that role. And it's a fantastic way. And as this year goes on, as you mentioned, we're in a bit of a transition. So Fabulous at 50 as a kind of a global community. So we say the full community is transitioning to having a lot of online, and more is coming out about our online membership. We have an updated newsletter that's going out on a regular basis. We'll have some fabulous health offerings as well. We have the podcast now. We have the blog that you can go to. And I want to circle back to you right now, because we also have some wonderful ideas for transitioning what would have been an in-person workshop to a virtual one, which I'm excited about, because when it's in person, it's just the people in your city that can attend. But now we can highlight some of your skills on it'll be live, but online. So a virtual workshop. Can you tell us more about that? I know you and I haven't set the date yet at this point in time while we're, doing this podcast recording, but tell us a bit more about what that looks like. What skill are you going to be showing us that you have?
Okay, awesome. I'm really thrilled about this. And I always know when I know I'm right in my, right on purpose when I do this particular workshop. Since 2006, I've been a True Colors facilitator. That's True Colors, and that's the personality styles, not the clothing. I've been asked, do you do colors?
Okay.
So no. I do the personality styles, and I love it. And I'll tell you why I love it, and why I want to bring it to the Fabulous at 50 community, because it is a new language. It was actually derived from Myers-Briggs, and it's just another language that's called edutainment. And we just have fun with it. And when people discover their personality style, that's very, very, very easy. Then what happens is they also open up their world to the world of communication with the people that are around them. They don't have to learn about different numbers that people are, or the little letters like the INFJ or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know that well enough to understand it. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but
it's a little more difficult. I mean, they're great personality style models or whatever
modalities.
Modalities.
Either modalities or
tongue stuck to anyway modalities. But yeah, the true colors is fun, and when you discover you're a blue or an orange, or if you're a green or a gold, and you suddenly can. The beautiful thing about it is once you discover your personality styles, you can actually stand in front of somebody, and within 5 minutes, that's one of the things that I love to teach. Within 5 minutes, you can identify who that person, what their personality style might be, and then you can talk their language. So it's great for sales, it's great for communication, it's great for schools, students, teachers.
I'm thinking relationships, just having a better, this would bring about more empathy and connection. And,
yes.
We all know the world needs that. We need to be looking at our similarities and coming together in the inclusiveness.
Yes.
And when there is a difference, instead of that being like us versus them, it comes together as more of, what can I learn from you? It's really, my thought process is this, yours is that. I become fascinated with those types of things.
Well, the beautiful thing about it too is that we are all 4 colors. It's just the combination that we are. And very often what happens, just confirming what you just said, very often what happens is we attract the opposite. It's the one color that is our palest, but it completes us. So sometimes that palest color, though, is a clash with us. Giving an example, a blue-green. Well, a blue is all about the heart. I've got my heart on. So heart.
Yeah, that's the color of the heart chakra.
Greens are head. Everything they think. So very often, and they love their space, and they love, they just love to be in their head, and they're logical. Whereas when you're in your heart, then sometimes there's no logic to the heart, right? And most often not. So in relationship, there's a clash where heart person says, I need you to hold me and hug me and love me and tell me that you love me and everything's okay. And head part, green person is saying, well, I married you. When I married you, I told you I loved you. Isn't that enough, right?
Yeah. And I told you that 10 years ago. I'll let you know if I change my mind.
I know. So
there's a joke out there with that.
I know.
I love it.
I teach people how to communicate, and I have to tell you, there have been a lot of people come to me saying, oh my gosh, I understand my husband or my wife so much better, and we're getting along. There's techniques for that. I'm also a Discover Your Sacred Gifts guide. So here's what I love doing. I love helping people to discover their personality styles, and now let's put the cherry on top of the sundae, and then what your true gifts are, the gifts that have been bestowed upon you.
Beautiful. Yeah. So the listening audience out there, just know that I think we should sort of put it out there right now that we should host one of each of those workshops this year, and we'll see how well that's received. We'll be watching our website and for doing that. At this point, before we sign off, I'm going to be asking you 3 pearls of wisdom that you would like to share with everyone. But first, just before that, can you, if people want to reach you, if they're going, oh, she sounds like a really interesting woman, or I'm in the Edmonton area, I want to know more about this Fabulous at 50 and the Fabulous at 50 community for the local area of Edmonton, because it's kind of 2 different levels.
Right.
The global is definitely online and will always stay online, pretty much. I'm looking forward to someday when we can actually have a big live, maybe a big conference and everybody can come, like a national conference.
That'd be so much fun.
Wouldn't that be fun? You and I have talked about that a little bit. But, we have the online, which is for anyone, no matter where you live in Canada. But then we have the individual locations, and you are in charge of the Edmonton and surrounding area as the director. How do they reach you?
So best to reach me is via email. So it's Brynda, Brynda. So I spell it a little different. I'm a Bryn. So Brynda, Brynda at fabulousat50.com.
Right. And when you do Fabulous at 50, it's fabulousat50.com. We just don't want
.ca. Oh my goodness.
.com. .com.
Oh my goodness.
That's funny. A little brain fart. Well, that's okay. A little menopausal brain fart there. So just before we sign off, I want to let the listening audience here into your pearls of wisdom. What would be 3 that come to mind in this moment that you would like to share with everyone?
All right. I mean, it's just so easy. First of all, embrace each day, each moment around you. embrace the people around you, and be bold, be authentic, be real, because people, they can see through someone who is not being authentic. And just embrace, especially with now what's happening in the world, we need to make sure that we maintain those beautiful relationships and
Absolutely.
meet new people and just let go of a lot of stuff. And then the other one is be as weird as you want to be. You know what? After I turned 50, I remember jumping into, and I literally physically jumped into my accountant's. I was working for Native Counseling as an IT person, and I jumped into his office and I said, you know what? I decided that today I'm going to be weird. I'm going to be the office weirdo, and I am so proud of it. So you'll often see me walking across the parking lot and kicking up my heels, or sitting with face paint on in a restaurant because my grandbabies did it. And you know what? And wearing tutu.
Awesome.
And so those are my three things: be weird, be authentic, bold, soar to your highest potential, and embrace each day and moment.
Beautiful. Wow, those are great. I love the weird one. I love the others. Don't get me wrong, but I love that. Be weird, because what it does is it just makes you have some fun. And when we have fun, it raises our energy up and everyone around us. And we so need that right now.
Yes. So
Brynda,
one last one.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
One last one.
Okay.
Is together.
Bonus.
Don't take yourself so seriously. Just live, love, laugh. That's all that you need to do. Right?
I have that on my wall in my bedroom. Live, love, laugh. So thank you for sharing that. That is a fantastic reminder. Brynda, it's been a delight. And I know that we have lots of collaboration in the works. So if you're listening to this, and I know you want to get involved, and if you're not already involved, go to www.fabulousat50.com. And although I think we own this CA and have it forwarded, and check out what's going on. We have, at the time of this recording, we are about to launch a new website. So when you go there, we will be, by the end of October, beginning of November, within the next couple of weeks, we are going to have like a fresh and new look. And it's going to have all the compartments of what is pertinent to what we're offering right now. So I'm so excited about that. And on there will be a section for events, like our online events. And so keep popping back, and we will find, you know what's funny is I was drinking from this one and I went, I don't know why I didn't grab my Fabulous at 50 water glass. I'm going to have to do that. All right. You and I could keep talking for another hour. We're going to say goodbye to everyone. We wish you a fabulous day, and we will see you again at a future episode, or even better, see you on a live Zoom call because you have become one of our members.
Yes.
Take care.
Fabulous.
Thanks for joining us today. You've been listening to the Fabulous at 50 podcast with your host, Joanne Neweduk. Join us again for more inspirational interviews on topics that matter to you. If you like what you've heard on today's episode, check out the liner notes, or to learn more about this vibrant community that celebrates women over 50, please visit fabulousat50.com. That's www.fabulousat50.com.